Good evening. I'm here with Bryan Flicker, candidate for Oroville City Council. He's going to be answering the questions that we got from the readers from the 365. He'll have 10 minutes to respond, just like all of the other council candidates have had. And I'm just going to get straight into the questions. How are you feeling today, Bryan?
I'm awesome.
Okay, let's just get right into it then. So the first question is from Janette Wever, and she would like to know, I'd like each candidate to be asked, how would you measure a successful team in office, and under which circumstances should you be removed from office?
A successful team in office?
A successful team in office, and under which circumstances should you be removed from office?
I think a successful team is the group of us working together efficiently and effectively. I think the only reason someone should be removed from office is violation of code of ethics or violation of a law of moral turpitude.
All right. Okay, so let me see. Oh, and I should apologize now. I'm probably going to mess up the people's names. I'm terrible at that. So this is Inosencio Gonzales would like to ask, what are the plans on the homeless taking over the city parks with vandalism and graffiti? Plus, how to control the trash and needles and water that are in the waterways left behind by them?
I've given that a lot of thought because that's a major concern of mine. I think there's a lot of effective ways we can do this, but it's going to take all of us. It's not something the council can do on our own. The city already has a POP team as a problem-oriented policing. They're dedicating 3 full-time staff members to that. I think that's unfair of the taxpayers to support that entire thing. I would really like to see us do a teamwork type thing. I saw a program in Shasta County when I was at the sheriff's office. I went up there for some training and working with people with mental illness on the streets. And they have a team in Shasta that combines behavioral health, the probation department, the city PD, and the sheriff's office. There's a lot of money available in behavioral health that we could use to increase the size of that. And I don't think solving the problem in the city is going to solve the problem, because at best we'll push them out of the city limits. They'll be in the county, they'll still have problems coming into the city to deal with those things. So I think we need to take a whole approach to this problem, and everybody that's affected by it deal with it. So I would like to see it. Probably in my experience, at least half of the people on the streets right now are mentally ill, maybe even more, but they're there because they can't function in our society right now. So in the Shasta County model, they actually had the team of people go into the homeless camps, under the bridges, actually met with these people every week to establish a relationship. In some cases, they actually brought the medications to the people because they couldn't trust them, someone else would steal them. So every day they met them and gave them their medication. Usually once they're on medication, they get stabilized, then they want to be part of society and they want the comforts of a home. So I think that's would solve over half our problem. The other half are people who don't want to be a part of society, don't want the responsibility of dealing with a home or a job. Those people need to go away. I don't care if you want to camp out and live in the woods for your life, but you can't be coming into the city causing problems for the tax-paying citizens. You can't be causing damage to businesses and trashing the parks so families can't go there. Those people need to go away. And I'm not sure how to do that, but I think if we can keep telling them we don't want you here, we don't want you here, and make it uncomfortable for them, they'll go find somewhere that's less uncomfortable.
All right. So the next question, this one will be from Liz Belyea. How will you personally foster a climate of respect and teamwork in which people can disagree but still arrive at solutions for the city?
I think that's just respect for a person. Whether you like a person personally or not shouldn't affect their ability to do the job. Respect the office. They're there, you know, I said in our speeches last night on the League of Women Voters Forum that we all have the same goal in mind. We just have different ideas of how to get there and maybe the priority. We all want Oroville to be a better place and a safer place for our families and a thriving place for businesses. We just don't necessarily agree on how to get there. So if we have the same goal in mind, I think we can come together and make a plan that we can all live with. But respect the person, respect the office, and then discuss your disagreements.
All right. The next one comes from Larry Tracy. We'll let this truck pass. A little loud here, folks. Larry Tracy would like to know, what will they do to bring jobs to Oroville?
Well, I think we're doing a lot of things to work on that right now, but I took a ride around with the Feather River Parks and Recreation chair of the board, and we talked a lot about that. I think a lot of that, every building that comes into town has to put a landscape design together with the planning department. Our code enforcement is down to one person now. There are 5 authorized positions. I think if we can get code enforcement to make the business owners that are negligent bring their buildings up to the standards they were when they brought them in, will help. I think we need to make our city more attractive. If we can deal with the unhoused issue and make our parks attractive, and people see families out there, the city itself is attractive, I think that will help attract businesses. I think we need to do some things to maybe lower the tax burden or the startup costs. I think we're looking at the short range instead of the long view. And if we give a person a break to bring a business into town, for the next 30 or 40 or 50 years, we're going to bring jobs, employment, taxes, and I think we'll more than compensate for waiving a few startup fees in the long run when we start recouping those tax dollars.
Right. The next question comes from Raquel Ford Hart. Do you support law enforcement or defunding?
I definitely support law enforcement. I'm a retired law enforcement officer. I think we have to work together. It runs cyclical. You know, sometimes all the money goes to law enforcement, sometimes all the money goes to behavioral health. It just depends on which way the pendulum's swinging. But I am definitely opposed to defunding law enforcement. I'm in favor of trying to mitigate those costs by bringing other organizations in that we can use tax dollars, much like we did with BENTIF, the Narcotics Task Force. Every agency in the county brought law enforcement to that, so the entire burden wasn't borne by just the city of Oroville. So I think that's a big answer to that problem, but I'm definitely not in favor of defunding law enforcement.
Hey. Next one's from Jamie Lopez. With the restaurant, The Union, being so successful the first few days with open outdoor seating under COVID-19 rules, do you see encouraging more nice outdoor restaurants like this?
Absolutely, and I think it's going to be good for all of us if we continue in this tradition. In Oroville, it's difficult because it's often very hot here, and outdoor dining is difficult. We've seen some success with visitors and fans and those things in the long term. I'd like to see something with the downtown business like they do in Chico, where they close down streets and then encourage people to come downtown and eat and walk about and visit and see each other. And especially, I think, with our new business improvement district down here, I think that they could work together and all the businesses would benefit from the success of the restaurants. Bryan Wong has done a lot for this community. The Wong family has been amazing for this community. So I wish Bryan all the success in the world, and I hope other people can emulate that model.
Excellent. Okay, and the last one, that one comes from the 365 from us. What is the one issue or project that you would like to bring awareness to?
I would like to let people know that my major focus initially is going to be dealing with this unhoused issue. I think it affects all of us. It affects the businesses, it affects the families, it affects the view of the city. So if we take a leadership role there, I think we can get a lot of nonprofits and churches and just concerned citizens to get involved. I think Chrissy Riggs is doing a great job working that area with the parks and the cleanup things. There's a lot of people working individually on that. I'd like to see the city take a leadership role on that, maybe work with code enforcement. But cleaning up our city and dealing with the homeless issues are going to be my focus initially.
All right. That's it. We're through our questions. Bryan, thank you very much for doing this interview. This will be posted on the 365 in the next few days. And that's it. Have a good night. Thank you.
Chris, and nice to meet you, Genevieve.